Let's get a quick take on the annual 420 celebration happening today as we speak. Probably, actually, if you're watching this at 8 o'clock, a little before than this broadcast, in Denver Civic Center Park. We've heard current sponsors, Euflora, are hoping for a more professional look to the event following the organizers' last year's celebration leaving trash in the park overnight. Patty Calhoun from Westward, your go-to on many, many issues, but especially pot celebrations. Do you expect a different look this year?
Well, of course, 420 is like Christmas in my office. And as I was driving from my office through to the crowds, the smelly crowds, or the smoking crowds, on my way here, I was remembering last year because they only had one gate. So when we were leaving the studio last year, there were people already breaking down the fences so they can get in. When you're having a big event in Civic Center Park, it doesn't matter what the event is, you need to plan enough entrances. You're doing security, most of them do now, and since the shootings 5 years ago, they've been doing security screenings. Looks like it is going to be a good, safe, tidy celebration.
Michael Fields from Americans for Prosperity. Do you expect a little bit more of a commercial look? I mean, are we going to get closer to more of a Taste of Colorado, maybe a People's Fair feel than the ones we've had in the past?
I think it has to be after last year. I mean, there was a backlash from the city, was upset about, the Civic Center getting trashed. I think the biggest thing is that, the marijuana debate continues on, and this is kind of a reminder of that this week Cory Gardner, came out with talking about legislation that they wanted to pass on the federal level, talked about, stopping, the justice nominees that he's been holding up because Trump said that they weren't going to come after Colorado's weed industry now. And so I think this is just a reminder that, this has to be a better, rally on 420, but it's also an ongoing debate that's going to be going on for years.
Eric Sonren, political analyst. Do you expect now, there was some controversy behind how the permit for this event came down. It eventually went to the industry, and they seems to have more of a grown-up feel. Do you expect that to continue to be the case?
Well, nothing says professional to me, to use your word, like a 420 rally. When we have a blimp overhead, when the pot industry replaces Goodyear sponsoring the overhead blimp, then I'll know that we fully commercialized this deal. For me, real quickly, 420 obviously means the pot rally and marijuana legalization and everything else Colorado has become semi-famous for. But it also, I don't think you can comment on 420 without flashing back 19 years to Columbine. This is an anniversary of that. I remember where I was approximately noon that day, which is the time we're taping this show, when that was going down between noon and 1 o'clock. And may those people continue to rest in peace.
Rounding out the panel, Susan Green, Colorado Independent. It's great to see you again. Susan, we have a crazy 420 event happening, but we also have much more somber anniversary, as Eric reminds us of, on Columbine. Take your pick of what's making headlines this week.
Yeah, I would say Columbine. I sat next to Tom Mauser, who's the father of Daniel Mauser, one of the kids killed in the massacre a couple of months ago. And I asked him, has anything changed in these last 19 years? And even though on some level I kind of knew nothing had, he said, well, actually, only the federal laws have been only loosened. I mean, nothing has changed in terms of gun control 19 years later. And what we have raised, and my kids are included in this generation, is a generation to whom we cannot explain why guns are as available as fidget spinners, and why there are things like bump stocks, and why we seem to care about gun violence only when there's a massacre and forget about it 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.